This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis.
Welcome back to The Morning Majlis. Now, we're going to be talking to you a little bit more about the travel to the UK. Now, everyone was hoping that this news would come sooner, but surprisingly, your Pfizer vaccination that you might have taken was genuine fake 2 to 3 days ago until today. Today, it's genuine. It's all fine. So, fully vaccinated travellers from the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and 14 other countries arriving in England from 4 a.m. UK time, which is going to be now, in fact, 20 minutes ago, will not need to undergo a quarantine period according to the new rules. This means that you will be classed as fully vaccinated, and so this means that the fully vaccinated travellers will not have to take a pre-departure COVID-19 test, nor a day 8 test, nor quarantine at home or in the place they would be staying for 10 days after arriving in England. So that rule is now going to be void.
Yes, again, people who are fully vaccinated won't need a pre-departure test before arrival into England from a non-red country. And from later this month, the day 2 PCR test will be replaced with a cheaper lateral flow. And we've seen also the Transport Secretary saying that the single red list and testing changes were about striking the right balance to manage the public health risk as a number one priority. Now, as for testing, residents who are fully vaccinated no longer need to take a pre-departure lateral flow test for traveling into England from anywhere not on the red list. They still need a day 2 test, though, after their arrival. But at the end of October, they will be able to replace their day 2 PCR test, which can be rather expensive for families with a cheaper lateral flow test. And according to the Health Secretary of the UK, Sajid Javid, he previously told news media that the cost that generates for families, particularly families just trying to go out on holiday, we shouldn't be keeping anything like that in place for a second longer than is absolutely necessary. So fully vaccinated travelers already do not need a day 8 post-arrival PCR test. Those who are unvaccinated, though, still need to take the pre-departure test for traveling into England and still have to purchase a PCR for their day 2 test. And they also still have to quarantine for 10 days, regardless of where they arrive from. So what happens if you come back from a red list country? Now, anyone returning from a red list country is still required to pay a whopping £2,285 to quarantine for 11 nights at a government-approved hotel. You can actually refer back to their websites, the government websites and all of that regarding this issue. So
Yeah.
And
to reiterate, essentially, the UK, they simplified the travel rules. So back then they had the traffic light system. Now it's a single red list. If you're not on the red list, you no longer have to take a test before setting off to the UK as long as you're fully vaccinated. And according to the Transport Secretary Grant Shapps, he said, quote, "We are accelerating towards a future where travel continues to reopen safely and remains open for good. And today's rule changes are good news for families, businesses, and the travel sector." He said, "Our priority remains to protect public health, but with more than 8 in 10 people now fully vaccinated, we are able to take these steps to lower the cost of testing and help the sector to continue its recovery."
Yeah, look, when I went over a couple of weeks ago, I had to quarantine because I had a Pfizer shot. And despite having a Pfizer shot administered in the United Arab Emirates, I was not recognized as being vaccinated. So I was obliged to quarantine, and I had to take a day 2 test. And during my stay, I did get lots of calls from the track and trace in the National Health Service, and they did make sure that I was quarantining, and it to many people's surprise, because a lot of people sometimes didn't get a call from track and trace. I had a visit by them saying, "Hey, we're making sure that you're safe and you're okay quarantining at home," and I was there in my pajamas with a cup of tea, welcoming them on the door and thinking and saying, "Yeah, all fine." so far. But yeah, it was worrying because you never get that. You'd never get your own relatives checking up on you in the UK if you're okay after you've travelled back, and then you've got the track and trace right outside your doors. But the fact is that things have now eased. It'll be better for us to travel, and it's going to be big news. And we are going to be hearing from senior government representatives in the UK as well to find out a little bit more about the importance of UAE and UK connections. So lots to remember as well.
Exactly, AK. And we're expecting a further easing of the rules. In fact, according to reports, later in October, the government said that fully vaccinated people coming to the country will no longer have to take a PCR test 2 days after arrival. They said they can take a cheaper lateral flow test instead. No date for that has been announced so far, but it's going to be in the books moving forward. So we'll continue updating you on the program and all the travel rules and guidelines from the region and around the world in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. Stay tuned to Pulse 95. Up next, we'll talk about a plane crashing into a building in Milan, Italy. Why did this happen? Stay tuned for that and much more right here on Pulse 95.
This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis.
Talking the stories that are shaping headlines, plus those that make you go,
Welcome back onto the Morning Majlis. This is Rania Saadi with Abdul Karim Hanif and Ahmed Dawood. Well, we have so much to discuss this hour. Fun stuff, really. This is going to be a very light hour because we have some sports headlines. Whoever caught or didn't catch, actually, the Manchester City versus Liverpool game last night. Well, we have the full review on that game because it just happens to be one of the best games
Ever. What a game.
What a game. It was an amazing game. Mo Salah did absolutely amazing in that game as well. So why is it so important to be discussing this game? We're going to talk about this and all the sports updates as well. Also, we're going to be talking about Britney Spears. Whatever happened to her just days after her father was suspended as the conservator of her estate. Well, she's saying that she's taken some time for self-care. She has a lot to say right now, and she actually did. She went MIA, let's just say, or she did, I think, deactivate her Instagram account, right?
Yeah.
So whatever happened to her, we're going to also give you an update on Britney Spears, what happened with her. And who is the most popular man on TikTok? Apparently, it's someone that I've never heard of, to be honest.
I don't blame you, because a lot of people get famous on TikTok. But
They do. They keep getting famous, don't they?
yeah, they
It's
do.
so easy to get famous on TikTok, isn't it?
I don't know. Like, the thing is, TikTok has got a very strange algorithm, and I've got a very very opinionated vibe surrounding it. I believe that once you sign up, it gives you the views initially, and then it just goes away.
You're absolutely right. I think that's exactly how it works.
Are you popular on TikTok,
You get an
Abdul
initial
Karim?
boost with the algorithm. You start getting thousands of views out of nowhere, and then they just trickle down, and you're on your own.
I mean,
Are you
Ryan,
popular?
I'm very popular. I get a lot of hate almost every day on TikTok.
What?
Yeah, I do.
How so?
I
This is
don't.
entertaining.
Yeah,
How
the-
so?
I just, I mean,
Yeah.
I have 500 followers, and some of my content is
It's mostly you covering events and things.
basically, yeah. I have very, very no offensive, extremely non-offensive content. It's just
Exactly.
me probably having fun somewhere, and people just aren't a big fan of it. So there's
What are they saying?
Haters gonna hate. That's
hate
what
is gonna hate. This is what it is, you know. So it's, I think TikTok invites that kind of a crowd that's just there, and there's a lot of troublemakers, you know. Like you know, there's especially when I
Yeah.
made the
So people are
diving.
not nice on TikTok.
People, yeah, things, and there's a lot of fake accounts as well. So there's like user number 5678940, and you're thinking, what a creative name. Especially when I did the diving, the deep dive. Yes, I'm not an experienced or a trained diver. If I'm going to raise my thumbs up because I'm having a great time, yes, it's not a diver friendly gesture to make, because apparently if you say thumbs up you want to go up, and I was just posing for the camera,
yeah.
and they're not liking it. They're like, well, stop being a fake diver. Oh, great. Do
So mean.
you want to go diving instead? You know, so
Yeah, I don't get those people. I want to understand their mentality because I posted something once and then someone was like, "Who cares?"
Oh,
It's like,
so it's a thing.
Why did you spend your time watching this video if that's what you're gonna say? You know, like
Yeah,
I don't get those people.
I'm thinking they're kids.
It's because it attracts teenagers. It
Yeah,
attracts
I'm
people who
thinking those
want
are
to
kids.
entice and pinpoint people and say, "Oh, this is bad." There's lots of opinions being floating around. Instagram has a little bit of a different vibe to it, but I'm sure celebrities get it all the time. But yeah, I like putting stuff on TikTok, such as like the other day I went on to a Luxembourg Pavilion's slide and I made a video and I posted it. And TikTok can be very, very good for certain content, but then sometimes it also depends on the algorithm. So I'm not too sure about it. But we're going to be talking about the famous man on TikTok. I hope he doesn't get too much hate from random teenagers. But it'll be great to hear his story.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're also going to tell you the latest from the Emirate of Sharjah. A number of initiatives discussed by the Sharjah Consultative Council to elevate people's livelihoods and much more. And also to elevate your livelihood, you stand the chance to win 10,000 dirhams.
Oh, yes. You can win 10,000 dirhams or 7,000 if you're not good enough. So if you've posted a video that's 10,000 dirhams worth and someone gives you a nasty comment, ignore it because they're not going to win the 7,000 dirham either. So it's fine. So do stay with us on Pulse 95. We'll keep you posted about how to win it. Up next, we'll have Iman Al-Majali, who's going to brief you a little bit more about how you can win those 10,000 dirhams, because this is a competition of a lifetime. Shoot Sharjah above. And or grammatically, you can shoot some images of Sharjah up above in the sky, so above the Emirate of Sharjah. Then you can definitely get a good chance of getting some amazing footage, and with it 10,000 dirhams, maybe another drone. That could be amazing. Stay with us on Pulse 95. Iman Al-Majali is up next to brief you about it.
If you liked this episode of The Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.
Pulse.